Well, good morning. Welcome back to the broadcast, Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRN AM for Monday, January 31st, 2022. And our top story today, Retirement Revamp offers bipartisan glimmer. Joining me now to discuss this and a lot more is Kaustuv Basu. He's a senior congressional reporter for Bloomberg Tax and Accounting. Stu, it's great to see you. Happy New Year. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
You're very welcome. Glad to be here.
Look, I think this is, it's great to chat with you and the folks at Bloomberg Law. You guys have your ear to the pavement, so to speak, when it comes to, what's happening in Washington, D.C., what's happening in policy, tax policy, retirement policy. Let's talk about, retirement, Stu, used to be a bipartisan issue. It may still be the only bipartisan issue these days in Washington, D.C. What can we look forward to? We've got the midterms coming up in November. Is retirement policy front and center when it comes to legislation?
Right now, it is not front and center because this is an election year, and a lot of the decisions being made is, they're looking back and looking forward, and the midterms are just, at the end of the year. But having said that, I agree with you. It's one of the few policy areas where there is bipartisan agreement. But the timing might be a little difficult because Biden's tax and spending package, which passed the House, it has stalled in the Senate. Now, there are efforts to revive it, break it into parts. But we are being told that the part that has the best chance of moving soon is the climate policies and maybe some healthcare policy, not so much retirement.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, we're a retirement network, but we talk about a lot of different things, and obviously climate, healthcare, very important as well. We talk about some of that stuff too. When you talk to people, whether it's the Chairman Neal, or I guess senior leader Brady, what's on their minds when it comes to retirement? I know in reading your piece, Secure 2.0 is top of mind, but what generally are they thinking about?
Well, so I'll first talk about ranking member, Ways and Means ranking member Kevin Brady. He's a Republican from Texas, formerly chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. This is his last year in Congress. He's planning to retire after this current term. So, in chatting with him, he has been talking to Chairman Neal, Richie Neal, Ways and Means Chairman, and ways to move this Secure 2.0 forward. He wants it done. Now, that depends on what Congress is able to do with this Build Back Better package. Now, there are some retirement provisions that were in the Build Back Better package passed by the House. Now, if that gets completely taken out, there might be a chance to do a retirement bill sometime this year, maybe even after the midterms, which is called a lame duck, period, where there is more bipartisanship. So there is a chance of doing that. Richie Neal's office told me that they feel good that this is a chance to work together and pass what's called a Secure 2.0.
Yeah, and that would be, I think, a good thing, whether it happens before the midterms, after the midterms. I'm not going to get into the politics of the decisions there. Now let's talk a little bit about the U.S. Senate, because there are two stalwarts in the Senate, Rob Portman from Ohio and Benjamin Cardin of my home state of Maryland. Those two gentlemen in particular, and there are a lot of great advocates of retirement in the U.S. Senate and the House, but those two gentlemen in particular have been real advocates. Do you see them advocating? And Rob, I think, Senator Portman is actually retiring, or at least he gave indications that he's retiring. So do we see any of this of interest in the U.S. Senate?
Yes, and again, Portman and Cardin, the two senators who have worked previously on retirement proposals, they could be the driving force to push this bill in the Senate. Again, Portman is retiring, well liked by both sides, so there's a chance there. But Ben Cardin, he's also focused on reforms to the IRS. He's been talking about that, whenever I chat with him. So there are other things on their minds, especially the Democrats, because this year could be their last chance to do like a big legislative package. So they're focused on that. Now, I'm not sure how these building blocks will be arranged and what gets into the first bill. That will be a Democratic bill. And depending on that, there are various things that get dropped out from retirement provisions that could make its way into the bill. I mean, there are others, who in the Senate, like, Michael Bennett, who will, they have talked about retirement proposals, helping people who do not or cannot save for retirement, help them save for retirement.
Yeah. Well, Stu, I need to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about what may transpire in terms of retirement provisions before or after the midterms. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms, especially for the smaller businesses? I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Are you stuck with a low credit score? A credit report and score that's causing you to be denied credit or pay higher interest rates than others for the same things? Then do what Terrence did and call Credit Repaired for your free credit evaluation to help restore your credit.
I started thinking about buying a new house, and my score wasn't where I needed it to be. I called and spoke with one of the representatives, and we just had a good conversation, and I liked what he was saying.
Just one call for his free credit evaluation was all it took to start back on the track to repairing his credit.
I'm seeing the deletions and I'm getting the report, so I know something's being done. It does make a difference to me.
All it takes is one call to get started.
Credit Repair has given me a second chance to have a better credit score.
Don't let a low credit score hold you back another day. Do what Terrence did and make the call for your free credit evaluation.
Call 800-819-4152. That's 800-819-4152. Again, 800-819-4152.
Welcome back. We're talking this morning to Kaustuv Basu. He's a senior congressional reporter for Bloomberg Tax and Accounting. Stu, thanks so much for sticking with us this morning.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, this is fun, and I always like talking about what might happen, and we try to talk about retirement policy on a regular basis on this network to make sure that people are aware first about new policy changes that might happen with the Department of Labor, also legislative changes. Very important to keep, and also tax changes, because look, you work for Bloomberg Tax. There could be tax changes down the line that would impact retirement and savings. Just going back to the timeline again. The expectation is that these things are, they're trying to get a bill passed, or they're trying to make some changes. But when would we know if retirement provisions are put into a new bill, or could be put into a new bill?
So we expect to have more insight on the Biden bill in the coming weeks. Congress comes back from their recess. The president is supposed to come over for his State of the Union address in about a month's time. So they want to have something to show before that. So, I know it's a puzzle right now, but staff is constantly talking behind the scenes, House, Senate. They're talking to Senator Manchin, whose support is crucial to passing, any part of this BBB bill. So we'll know more in the coming weeks. And there is a chance, though I said this in December and nothing happened, there is a chance that a sizable portion of this bill is either passed or we know more about what it will look like. And once that is done, then the retirement part, can be put in place, whether it's a bipartisan bill that will have some other tax elements, or whether some of it can go on the BBB bill. But so far, I haven't heard anything about retirement plans being considered for this smaller package.
Would you expect that, and I don't know if you've had these conversations, those in the retirement industry, I mean, there are government affairs professionals that work for the retirement industry advocating, and would you expect that there'd be a lot of advocacy going on around Secure 2.0? I mean, there are certainly probably things that the retirement industry would like to see in a bill, outside of greater limits. I mean, we talk often about retirement plan coverage, smaller businesses being able to have access. But would you expect more advocacy to continue while these bills are being constructed, for lack of a better term?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, when I chatted with Kevin Brady this month, he said that he constantly heard from people who want this done, and it's from small businesses, people who don't have access to retirement savings, and the same holds true for Ways and Means Chairman Richie Neal. He's always talked about retirement policy as one of his cornerstones, and they're working together. They're hearing from people. The stars have to align for all this to just happen, like it did with Secure 1.0. In December 2019, suddenly everything came together as it does at the end of the year in Congress. They passed the bill, Trump signed it, and it became law.
Yeah, and look, I mean, to be fair, we've had a lot going on in March of 2020. We fully expected going into 2020 we were going to be focused on Secure 1.0, and then the pandemic hit, and we were talking about the CARES Act and all these different aspects. So clearly, priorities changed. The priorities changed in the executive branch. They changed the legislative branch around what's happening. Last question, Stu. You talked earlier about the focus on climate, and climate, ESG, sustainability, that has been a big topic in the retirement and asset management industry. Are you hearing anything in particular there? We heard about potential climate disclosures through the SEC and other areas, but anything related to retirement and climate?
No, I have not, and that is in part because even the climate part is subject to change. So we have heard that the House passed climate provisions have a good chance of making it into this bill, but things are being tweaked every day. There's discussions every day, and we all know that sometimes Congress moves at a glacial pace. I mean, at the beginning of 2021, there was a lot of discussion about doing some retirement bills last year, and nothing happened. So, talks are ongoing is the best way I can phrase it. Things could change from week to week, like they did in the period between September and December last year.
Yeah, well, hopefully we don't. Go ahead.
But so far, I don't have a clear indication of what exactly might be in this smaller bill.
Yeah, well, hopefully we don't have another ice age, just to pick up on your glacial metaphor. We don't have another ice age before we get new retirement legislation. Stu Basu, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to having you back on the program again very soon.
Glad to be here. Thanks for your time.
And that wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest, someone you think we should talk to? Well, drop us a line. And don't forget, For all the information in lifestyle, wellness, tech, finance, so much more, and all in one place, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to see our latest content or search our archives? Well, check out our website and, of course, our streaming partners like Amazon, Roku, Samsung, so much more. We're back again tomorrow. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes. Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the first lifestyle and wellness network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. We've handled thousands of cases, so we know what we're doing. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a Tax Doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Call 800-224-6439.